Hello there, everyone. My name is Crazy Caleb, and welcome back to another KTANE modded module tutorial. Today, we're going to be taking a look at not adjacent letters. It has been a while since I've gotten back on the tutorial videos, but today I figured I'd come back and maybe do a couple of them. But I had a little bit of motivation to do so. So today, we're going to be taking a look at a very tricky module, but based off of an old classic, adjacent letters. So the difference between this mod that makes it a not module is, for starters, the submit button is currently upside down in the based off of the text being upside down, of course. And also, if you take a look, the current buttons that you normally press up or down are actually all pressed down, and that's going to have to do something with the way that this module works. So, since all the buttons are pressed, don't press submit until having all buttons pressed is the correct answer. So the way that the module generates is it's trying to generate something that is an answer that would be in a case where all buttons are pressed. Where, for example, if you swap the positions of each of these letters, that would be the correct positions for everything to be down effectively. So the rules are the same for adjacent letters, where if you have a letter that is left or right of it, you can therefore press it, or if it's above or below, you can therefore press it down. So we only need one. It doesn't need like a specific amount. You only need at least one of the left or right or above or below case to have it be pressed. So for example, if we take a look at the letter Papa, for it to be pressed, for a left or right case would be a Delta Mike November Oscar X-ray. So if that is placed, so for example, this November, if this was placed right next to it, this Papa would therefore be able to be placed down, or pressed down rather in this case. Now, for example, with the above or below, it's the same thing, except you in this case would do these two sections. So left and right, above and below. And in this case, the foxtrot would have do the exact same thing here. This Papa would then therefore be able to be pressed down via the foxtrot. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try and figure out which letters correspond to which that would be able to press the letter down that you're trying to get at first. So we're going to take a look because we need to know of the 12 letters that are currently on the module, which ones correlate to which, and perhaps maybe we can get some starting points there. It's probably best that you get familiar with how this format works. Personally, I'm not sure if there's a really good technique with this mod. There is going to be a lot of brute forcing, in my opinion. But overall, it's a neat concept and a neat way to use an older module's idea, and just make a new puzzle out of it effectively, because you're working with an older module concept, exact same concept, but now you're trying to make a state that is specifically where all buttons would be pressed down in this case. So let's have a look. Let's go through each of the letters. So we have an alpha, a Charlie, a foxtrot. Let's just go through them alphabetically. So we have a Papa, Romeo, we've got a Mike, we've got a Golf, Victor, Whiskey, we got the Quebec, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm missing one. It looks like I am missing the... India, Romeo, Mike, Charlie, Papa. Oh, November. Okay, there we go. Yep. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of these letters individually, and we need to check which ones apply to left and right, and which ones apply to above and below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of them individually. So we're going to do alpha E equals, for example, to let us know that this would be if they were left or right. We can therefore press this one down. So of the buttons present, for left and right, Golf, Juliet, Mike, Oscar, and Yankee are the only ones that are applicable, but Golf and Mike are the only ones present, so that's what we're going to note down. I'm going to place a comma in between to let us know that that first condition is the left or right, and then we're going to take a look at the above and below. So next up, Hotel, Kilo, Papa, Romeo, Whiskey. So we've got the Papa, Romeo, and Whiskey there. And therefore, that's what we're going to be taking a look at for each of these individual letters. This does take a while, but I think it's a better idea to just simplify this manual to make sure that you know what you're looking for. And it'll also help in a technique that I'll teach in just a little bit. So next up, we've got Charlie. Charlie is adjacent to Bravo, Hotel, India, Juliet, and Whiskey. And then for the above and below, Delta, Echo, Mike, Tango, and Uniform. Okay? Next up is Foxtrot. We have Charlie, Echo, Romeo, Victor, and there's no Yankee. Then next up we have Alpha, Golf, Juliet, Papa, Quebec. Okay, a lot of options for that one. We're probably going to stay away from those, personally speaking. You want to start with probably the lower options, because if there's only so many options that you can do with, for example, Charlie, then therefore that's probably what you want to focus on first. So next up we've got Golf, is going to be adjacent to Alpha, Charlie, Foxtrot, November, and Sierra. Okay, a lot of options there. And for the above and below, it's going to be Hotel, Oscar, Quebec, Yankee, and Zulu. A lot of options there. We're probably going to stay away from that one too. Then we have the India case. Delta, Lima, Oscar, Whiskey, and Zulu. Okay. And then Echo, Foxtrot, November, Uniform, and Victor. Okay. Then Mike, Echo, India, Lima, Quebec, Tango. And next up is Bravo, Foxtrot, Papa, Whiskey, and X-Ray. November is going to be equal to Papa, Quebec, Romeo, Sierra, Victor. And then we have Alpha, Foxtrot, Golf, Hotel, and Lima. Another one with a lot of options there. Papa is equal to Delta, Mike, November, Oscar, X-Ray. And then Charlie, Foxtrot, Hotel, Kilo, Romeo. Okay. Then we have the Quebec, Charlie, Echo, Oscar, Papa, Victor. And then Bravo, Delta, India, Kilo, November. Okay, this one might not be as nice. Romeo is adjacent to Alpha, Echo, Golf, Sierra, Uniform, and then a Bravo, November, Oscar, X-Ray, Yankee. Okay, that's a pretty good one. Victor is equal to Delta, Hotel, Mike, November, Whiskey, Alpha, Echo, Juliet, Quebec, and X-Ray. And then finally Whiskey, Delta, Foxtrot, Hotel, Mike, November, FMN, and then Golf, Lima, Quebec, Romeo, and there's no Tango. Okay, so a lot of options to work with here. But what I generally speaking like to do is I like to find a case where both of them are reliant upon each other, or they can self-serve each other effectively. So in this case, I think a perfect example here is the Alpha and the Golf. If they're both left and right, therefore they can both self-sustain each other. So maybe we can start here by placing the Alpha Golf, and we don't have to worry about any other cases with these guys. Now, there is the possibility of it appearing elsewhere. For example, with the Romeo is adjacent to either Alpha or Golf, so maybe we could place that right next to it, for example. That could be a good lead. And we just kind of just take a look around at this point. I don't really know any other consistent ways other than just starting off small and then kind of just working your way around things. That's kind of the general idea that I have personally going forward with this. Things are obviously going to be subject to change. You're going to have to shuffle things around, but this is the way that the mod works, and this is what we're going to have to deal with here. I really don't know any other ways to do this consistently. So maybe put the Foxtrot with the Golf, because the Foxtrot, if the Golf is above or below, that can therefore be pressed down. Here, I guess I'll leave a key here. So we'll do LR and then up, down, effectively. That's what's happening here. If these letters are left or right of it, this can be pressed down. If these letters are above and below it, this can be pressed down. That's the way that it works. So, with the Papa, we want a November to the right of us, right or left of us, or we want a Charlie, Foxtrot, Romeo to above or below. So we can put the Papa there. Let's check the Victor. The Victor can have an Alpha, Quebec below us. That's very good so far. The Charlie, an India, Whiskey to the right or left of us. So that might go in the bottom row. Or a Mike below us, perhaps. The Mike, India, Quebec to the left or right of us, or a Foxtrot Papa Whiskey, so maybe there. We can maybe have a November to the left of us. And it's kind of just going to be checking when the conditions line up effectively. I can already see that the Quebec does not work in that position. So we have to figure this out a little bit. Let's see what we have that works. So the Alpha and the Golf we said was self-sustaining. Those two work with each other. The Romeo and the Golf work. The Charlie works with the Mike. Yep. The Victor we said works with the Alpha. Yep. The Foxtrot works with the Golf. Okay. And it also works with the Quebec, but it's unfortunate that they don't work with each other. The Papa works with the Romeo, okay? But that can change, of course. So maybe we can swap these two positions and see how that works, because this Papa works with November being right or left. The Quebec is where? So the Quebec wants a Charlie Papa Victor to the left or right, or an India November above or below. That takes care of that, therefore. So then the Mike, we needed India Quebec to the left or right of us. That even further supports that. So then we can maybe move the whiskey around if we need to as well. The India needs to have a whiskey to the left or right of it, or a Foxtrot November Victor above or below it. Okay, it does. The Papa, this is the one we changed, so we need to check this. Papa is adjacent to November, which we said. November is adjacent to a Papa, left or right. Perfect. And then the whiskey is adjacent to a November, left or right. This actually is the solution. This is perfect. And therefore, a module has been solved. So that's kind of the way that I like to do it. It's generally speaking trying to find the self-sustaining ones. I think that there can be multiple solutions. Let me have a look at the log, for example. Because there may have been a solution that it generated that I didn't get. Yeah, it doesn't actually have any logging at all. So there is the possibility of there being multiple solutions. Yeah, there's no filtered logging for this at all. It's just... Huh, okay. It does work. It does work, and when you submit it, it does give you a strike. I tried one previously, and I had an error, so that didn't work. But yeah, I definitely do believe that there's the possibility of there being multiple solutions. So I'm going to go over one more, and I'm going to go through this a lot faster for sure. But that's the general strat from what I understand. It does take a while, but it's not unreasonable. But it's it definitely is very tricky. It's very tricky to get it right, but it's very easy when you have everything noted down. And you kind of just start with the pair and see if it works. And you kind of just, you work your way around it, effectively speaking. So let's go through one more example, because that was quick enough. And I definitely have motivation to get this one with another example, effectively. So let's have a look. All right, so we have a Victor, Mike, Lima, Bravo. I'm just going to go through this in the reading order. X-Ray, Hotel, India, Tango, Echo, Yankee, Zulu, and Alpha. Okay. Alpha is equal to Golf, Juliet, Mike, Oscar, Yankee, or Hotel, Kilo, Papa, Romeo, Whiskey. Okay, not many options there, so that's going to be a good starting point. The Bravo is going to be equal to India, Kilo, Lima, Romeo, Tango, or a Charlie, Delta, Foxtrot, Yankee, Zulu, I believe, is the only ones. Echo is adjacent to Alpha, Charlie, Golf, India, Juliet, and it's also adjacent to Kilo, Sierra, Uniform, Whiskey, Zulu. Okay, not many options there either. Wow. All right. Then Hotel is adjacent to Lima, Romeo, Tango, Uniform, X-Ray. Then Delta, Kilo, Mike, Papa, and Sierra. Okay. Then India is Delta, Lima, Oscar, Whiskey, Zulu. Then Echo, Foxtrot, November, Uniform, Victor. Okay. Then Lima is adjacent to Golf, Kilo, Papa, Tango, Zulu. Very small ones this time around. Alpha, Bravo, Romeo, Victor, X-Ray. There are some bigger ones I was about to say. Mike is adjacent to Echo, India, Lima, Quebec, and Tango. There we go. Yeah, here comes the bigger ones now. Bravo, Foxtrot, Papa, Whiskey, X-Ray. Then Tango is Golf, Victor, X-Ray, Yankee, Zulu. Here we go. And then Charlie, Juliet, Lima, Sierra, Uniform. Then Victor, Delta, Hotel, Mike, November, Whiskey. And then Alpha, Echo, Juliet, Quebec, X-Ray. X-Ray is going to be equal to Bravo, Delta, Foxtrot, Kilo, Whiskey. Okay. And then Alpha, Juliet, November, Oscar, Victor. Okay. It's another small one. Yankee is equal to Bravo, Charlie, Hotel, Sierra, Uniform, or Echo, Golf, Mike, or Echo, Golf, Mike, and then Tango, Whiskey. And then Zulu is equal to Juliet, November, Juliet, November, Romeo, Sierra, Yankee. Okay. And then Charlie, Lima, Mike, Papa, Victor. Okay. Let's have a look now. Let's see what can be self-supporting of these smaller ones. Here, I'll highlight the smaller ones here. It's definitely a curious one, that's for sure. This one is not giving me any leads as much as I want it to. The Victor does support the X-Ray, and the X-Ray does support the Victor, so maybe we can start there with the Victor and the X-Ray. So that's already in place, actually, technically speaking. So then we can maybe work off of here. Is something supported by Victor by any chance? In a left or right state by any chance? Tango, maybe? Can put that there, perhaps. Maybe the hotel there, because that goes left or right with that one. The hotel maybe is then supported by what? The Victor's already in place. We don't care. The Yankee could go there. Alpha could go below it because that's supported with that one right there. Is the Lima? It's not that case. No. But the B supports it right now. Okay, let's go through this already. So Victor to Tango. Or the Victor to X-Ray, rather. And then the X-Ray to Victor. Tango to the Victor. Hotel to the Tango. Yankee to the Hotel. Yep. Lima to the Bravo, I believe is what it is. Yep. Then the Alpha to the Hotel. Yep. The Mike is not supported at the moment. Okay. So it's probably not this then, because if we swap the India up here, we can then maybe put the Echo below it. Let's give that a try. So the India is then supported by the Echo. The Mike is supported by the X-Ray. The Bravo is not supported by anything. Okay, let's figure this out. I don't think either of these care, so let's move this up here maybe. So Bravo, this one's interesting. Maybe we can do something different. Let's give that a try. So Victor and X-Ray support each other. The Tango is next to the Victor. The Bravo is supported by the Tango. Yep. The Lima, Tango Zulu, or an ABVX. That's not going to work there. Okay. Can maybe swap that there. Wait, the Yankee. Oh, the Yankee does work there, actually. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, so the Yankee's fine there. That doesn't need to change. The India is supported by the Lima. The Mike is supported by the X-Ray. The Alpha is supported by the Mike. Okay, so the hotel doesn't even need to go there. The Zulu is supported by the Yankee or Lima Victor Mike. Yep. Echo is supported by an AI. Okay, so the Echo's the only thing that's wrong here. Let's give that a try, maybe. Okay, let's try. Let's see it again. So these three are supported. The Bravo supports by the Tango. The Yankee is supported by the Bravo. The Hotel is supported by the X-Ray. The India is supported by the Lima. The Lima is supported by... Oh, crap. The Lima is the issue here. I gotta figure out what to do with this. What to do with you. Bravo's still supported by Lima. Supported by the Tango to begin with, to be honest with you. The Yankee. This hotel can move, I think. Or no, the hotel's fine. Let's leave the hotel there. Bravo's adjacent to Lima. We can change this if we need to. No, that's good, because that supports it. So the Bravo's adjacent to the Lima. The Lima's adjacent to the Zulu. Or no, the Lima's still incorrect, excuse me. The India... The mic is only supported by the X-Ray. This is tough. As you can see in this example, this one definitely is a lot trickier to go with. Let's maybe do the Yankee and the X-Ray, Yankee and the Echo. See if we can figure something out here. Huh, that weird. This solves a lot of issues. We don't even need to swap that. The Lima ABVX. What does the mic go with? Alright, let's check everything we just swapped. The Bravo still goes with the Tango. The India, Lima Zulu, or an Echo Victor below it. That checks out. Hotel, we don't care. It's the X-Ray. This top left corner basically is fine. Mike can go with the Echo. Yep. Echo goes with AI or Zulu. That's good. Lima can go above below the Alpha with the Yankee. Yankee with the Bravo Hotel or Echo Mike Tango, and then the Zulu with the Yankee. Lovely. Cool. Lot of switching around there. But that is how that mod works. It's a little bit tricky to do, but like if you can figure out and get like a consistent little setup, you absolutely can solve this no problem. Personally, it's gonna suck on EFM or like on a team setting because you have to do a lot of manual typing and whatnot, but it's not unreasonable to do. So just bear that in mind. This is probably the way that I would do things. It definitely takes a while to do, but it's not unbearable. If there is any other recommendations or ways that you guys know how to do this, I would definitely recommend leaving a comment on the video. And as always, yeah, thank you guys for watching. It feels good to be back, and as always, stay crazy, stay cool, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!